Here is motherboard. Motherboard is a main circuit board. Okay. All components, all components on either are on the motherboard only. Either it is connected to the motherboard or it's on the motherboard, it's connected on the motherboard. Okay. So how it is? Like your CPU. CPU socket is there or CPU slots are there. So you can insert the CPU inside on the motherboard. RAM slots, so you can insert the RAM in the RAM slots on the motherboard. Expansion slots means that you can see that PCI, the white bars, that's a expansion slots, PCI or PCIe express slots also there. So you want to insert what we can say extra USB port card or maybe a LAN card, NIC card. You want to insert it, a Ethernet card you want to insert it, you can insert into that expansion cards. Okay. So that is like you are adding some more additional adapters to your system. You can add it to that PCI slots. AGP slot. AGP slot for inserting graphic cards. So you have a desktop, then you want to insert extra graphic card, then a graphic card slots also there. For laptops, it's a different slots are there. Separate AGP slots are there, depends upon laptop motherboard. Wi-Fi cards also we can insert it. Okay, and a laptop separately. Different chipsets also there. So built-in Ethernet port chipset or maybe audio chipsets, video chipsets, north bridge, south bridge, your BIOS chipset is also there on the motherboard only. Power supply chipset, power supply is distribution related, power supply related chipsets also there, their components also there. Okay. CMOS battery slots are there. Hard disk, connectors, IDE slots, ATA is SATA slots for connecting your hard disk and CD-RAMs. IDE slots are PATA slots for connecting hard disk or CD-RAMs. Okay. 20 port or 24-pin power supply connector, 4-pin or 8-pin power supply connectors on the motherboard. Okay, CPU fan connectors. That CPU fan connector is also front panel connectors, power button connectors also there on your motherboard. Depends upon your motherboard. Okay, different form factors of motherboard is also available. Earlier 80, ATX, mini ATX, baby ATX, NLX, BLX, different types of motherboards also available. Just we should know what is that motherboard. That's it. Okay. So RAM slots, SMPS to motherboard power supply connector slot it is, other components, RAM insertions here and back panel. So if you take any desktop or any tower server itself, you can have a back panel connection to connect it. You see the round one, that is a 6-pin PS/2 connectors for connecting your keyboard and mouse. So one is for keyboard, another is for a mouse. Okay. So these PS/2s are removed later versions. They because of USB. USB is a universal serial bus. So different types of devices we can connect, including keyboard, mouse, printers, like that. So USB replace most of the connectors. So later on days, again, this PS/2 enhanced one is introduced. Means you see there is a 2 pins instead of two, only one single PS/2 is introduced. Either you can connect keyboard or mouse, you can connect it. Okay, to make it more useful for your USB ports, either keyboard or mouse, you can connect. Okay, and there is a VGA port, VGA, so 15-pin connector for connecting your monitor or projectors. And next one is that 25-pin pink color connector, that is parallel port, also called as LPT, line printer terminal. Generally, in our olden days, we have a printers that we are connecting to this point only. Okay, this port only. That's it's called a LPT, line printer terminal. So this is also not available in newer version of motherboards. From so many years, almost like more than 10 years, this parallel port is removed. Again, next is serial port, COM port. So it's a 9-pin D-pin connector, 9-pin it is. So this is called a serial port, COM port or RS-232. Okay. So this is earlier days in the starting time, we have a what we say external modems. Now we are having Wi-Fi routers. Right? Earlier days we have a external modems. So you got a telephone wire, the telephone wire goes to this external modem to this COM port connection is there. That's what we call COM port, communication port. Okay, COM port connection. So you can access internet to your system by connecting external modem to your COM port, and the external modem is connected to telephone cable. Through telephone exchange, the data transmission is there. Okay, so that is the pair. That's what is called communication port. Also RS-232. Why? Because this COM port and RS-232, not only that one, guys. We have emulator boards are there. For example, what we say 8051 microcontroller emulator boards, 8052, 8085, 8086 microcontroller microprocessors related emulator boards are there. So we want to connect and program. We have to burn the program inside the chips through that emulator boards. We are connecting from our COM port to that board only. Okay. Not only that one, Cisco routers and switches, you want to connect and configure. So we have a rollover cable. So one side of the cable go to this COM port and other side of the cable go to the console port of your switch or a router. Other side of the cable go to console port of switch or router. So like that, this COM port is actually for transmitting data purpose only. For different types of circuits or systems or devices. Okay. Of course, that is also replaced by USBs. Okay. So if you take a Raspberry Pi or a Arduino Uno boards or any these microcontroller, microprocessor, emulator boards, so we can easily directly connect with the USB ports, simple, right? A type, B type connections. Even I said console port, right? That console ports also similar. Console roll over cable. Okay. So rollover cable. See, this is we used earlier. Okay. So one side, it will go to the serial port. Okay. RS-232 or serial or COM port it is, system side. Other side, this is a normal Ethernet port look like. So it will go to the console port of your switch or a router. So then this is got changed from USB base. See, now simply you can connect it to your laptop also. Laptop don't have serial port. So laptop or a desktop, you can connect to the USB side, and this side it go to the console port. Okay. So that is what I'm showing. Okay. So different ports, different uses. And USB, universal serial bus, you can connect a wide variety of devices nowadays, including printers. Of course, we've seen some of other usages also. Okay. Mouse, keyboard, everything we can connect. Of course, this Ethernet port or fast Ethernet port RJ45 connector for connecting LAN connectivity. So desktop backend, backside connector. So there is a three points, that is for a mic connectivity, another is for a speakers connectivity, another is for a line-in connectivity. Like you have an electrical guitar or keyboard, so then you can connect this line-in to record your music from your keyboard or a guitar, electrical guitar into your system. Okay. So these are ES/2 personal system, universal serial bus. Okay, and this is your monitor for VGA connector. Okay, serial port or COM port or RS32 port it is. Okay, this is LAN port. Okay, RJ45 port. Ethernet array, fast Ethernet port or gigabit Ethernet port. It is LAN port, LAN connectivity. And new systems, you can see HDMI ports, laptops and desktops. Newer version, we are having this kind of HDMI ports. What is this HDMI? This is also for connecting to your monitors, projectors kind of stuff. But so what's the difference between VGA and HDMI? VGA is only for video output device kind of stuff. Okay, display purpose only. Okay, video kind of stuff only. But HDMI, video and audio transmission purpose, that too high definition wise. And certain motherboards, on the motherboard, these kind of LEDs also introduced in recent years, like last 5, 6 years. Okay, we are receiving this kind of LED status, LED lights on the motherboard. So it is indication for error coding. For example, there is a DRAM LED. In case DRAM LED is blinking, means RAM related issue. RAM is not, or maybe RAM is not there, or RAM is corrupted, RAM is loose connection kind of stuff. Like you power on your system, nothing on the screen. You check on the motherboard, you can see directly RAM LED is blinking means RAM related issue. Here we have to verify once, clean it and reinsert it and cross verify, then you will understand. It is happened to me, that is in my own system, which is on my desktop. Okay. I assembled all the components correctly and fixed everything. And I power on. I got a no signal. Instead of blank screen, I got a no signal error. And this VGA LED is blinking. So why this VGA LED blinking? I don't understand. Then I check everything. I removed and reinserted. And again, go back to this processor related information. I search for about my processor. My processor is i3 9100F model. Yes, if you take any F models like this, okay. Uh, so what it is, it required separate graphic card. The processor does not have built-in graphical memory. No UHD graphics, no iris graphics, nothing, no graphical memory it is. It's required separate graphic card. But nowadays we are having this Gemini, directly it is showing that one. But in the 2019, it means I use it 2020. Okay. That time we don't have a GPA. So what I have done, I search here. Also in the Amazon because I purchased it from Amazon. So I search in Amazon as well as here and found this line. That is that discrete graphic card is required. Okay, graphic memory is discrete. So you can see there is no graphical memory information also not showing. RAM is showing, everything is showing, but no graphical memory. It is specified that time it is discrete graphic card is required. Okay, so obviously I purchased another 2 GB graphic card. Okay, inserted it and it is working. 1 second, sorry. Okay. I inserted graphic card, that LED blinking is stopped. So like that, we can detect where is the problem. Okay, like that. Okay. Yeah, motherboard, that's it. So one more component is there that is called SMPS, switch mode power supply. Switch mode power supply. So till now we discussed about CPU, RAM, BIOS, means ROM or BIOS related settings, and motherboard, right? So all these devices need a power supply. Laptop power supply is different, desktop power supply is different, server power supply is little different. but commonly they're all using SMPS in different ways. So we'll talk about normal desktop or a server kind of systems, SMPS. SMPS means switch mode power supply. SMPS converts your mains AC power supply to your plug point. The power supply is AC power supply 220 volts or 230 volts AC voltage. It's with a 50 hertz frequency in general in our India. Okay, in our India, 220 to 230 volts AC, 50 hertz power supply, sine wave power supply it is, sine wave it is. Okay. In different countries, for example, you take US based countries that are having a 110 volts. 110 volts AC, 60 hertz frequency. Okay, there is 110 volts, 60 hertz frequency. Ours is 220 volts AC, 50 hertz frequency to their main plug points. And our systems, our electronic equipments like your laptops, desktops, mobile phones, we use even a TVs, we use DC power supply. So we have to convert AC to DC. To do that one, for our computers, we are having SMPS. Switch mode power supply converts AC to DC power supply. For our desktop, we need a different voltages. So then it converts AC to DC with a different DC voltages. Plus 12 volts, minus 12 volts, plus 5 volts, minus 5 volts, plus 3.3 volts. Okay, these are the different voltages we are getting. Okay, and this SMPS, earlier version is 80, advanced technology. The connector from SMPS to motherboard is 6 pin plus 6 pin connectors are connected to your motherboard. Later, it is ATX motherboard, ATX SMPSs, 20 pin connector is this, right? Single 20 pin connector. So later, again 24 pin ATX connector is there. So then it's SMPS is 24 pin motherboard connector it is. Plus, nowadays, compulsory additional to your system, like a 4 pin. In olden days, we have a 4 pin separate connector for your motherboard for your CPU power supply purpose. Means from SMPS to motherboard, two connectors. One is 24 pin connector for total motherboard component power supply. Second is separately, it is giving power supply to your CPU. 4 pin or 8 pin connectors. Only few devices, some devices having 6 pin connector. So most of them either 4 pin in the old days, now it is 8 pin connector. Separate motherboard connection. Okay. So this is the new version. And this is a 24 pin connector, each wire with a specific voltages. Example, you see the yellow wire. At yellow wire, you verify it is at plus 12 volts. Red wire is plus 5 volts. Okay. Blue wire minus 12 volts. And there is some orange wires. It is plus 3.3 volts. The green wire, which is power on wire, it is like power on wire for self-testing. Power on wire. Okay. Power supply. Power OK indicator. And there is minus 5 volts is also there. You have to little search on it. That is mostly, it's not showing it is. I think white wire. Okay. So not only that one, SMPS to motherboard guys, you have a hard disk. SMPS to hard disk connector. Hard disk also getting power supply from your SMPS in a system. Okay. So in a old days hard disk, we are using PATA hard disk, that is this type of connection, Malax connector, 4 pin connector. Now SATA hard disk, we are having this type of connector. This is for floppy disk. Nowadays we are not using, but still floppy disk. This is separate power supply connector. 4 plus 4 CPU connector it is. 24 pin connector. This is for desktop purpose. In old desktops, we have option that is 110 volts or 220 volts. For example, the desktop is in US. So you have to set 110 volts. If desktop is in India, for example, it is 220 volts. Okay, so you can't interchange it. So that's the point. Okay. Next, laptops. Laptop, you are putting a charger, right? That charger is SMPS charger only. Okay, it is also convert AC supply to DC supply. Please check your charger. It shows input is AC 220 volts and output is DC 19 volts. Generally, most of the laptop chargers are 19 volts DC output. So you are giving 19 volts DC output to your laptop. So for your laptop power supply purpose as well as batteries. So you have a battery supply internally. Batteries will get charged from your charger only. Your mobile phone charger. Yes, the charger is SMPS charger. Okay. It converts that 220 volts to 5 volts. Okay. The fast chargers are normal chargers. The output is mostly it is 5 volts. Your battery is 5 volts battery. But depends upon the ampere rating, the wattage increases. Okay. Wattage increases. That's the difference. 18 watts, 16 watts, 32 watts, 36 watts, 72 watts charges. So it means it's a current increase. So what is wattage? Voltage into mass. Okay, this is SMPS. Again, as I said, just wattage rating. Guys, in your system, whether it's laptop or desktop or anything, it is each component consume power supply. Example, your CPU consuming 50 watts. RAM consuming a 30 watts, for example. You have a graphic card consuming some 100 watts. Okay. For example, just for example, hard disk consuming something around 30 watts. Motherboard components are consuming some other 70, 80 watts. So what you are doing is, what are your system components? You calculate all the components, how much wattage utilization. You add everything. Example, you got a 300 watts total. Then what you done? You purchase an SMPS 300 watts SMPS. You installed everything. Yes, system is started running. After a few days, you inserted a pen drive or maybe a printer. Okay, or maybe an external CD-ROM. And maybe you are added some extra hard disk. So system is rebooting itself again and again. What is the problem? Maybe your attached device problem, or it can be your SMPS not giving enough power supply to all the components. So system says not enough power supply to all the components, so it will restart your system again and again. So system is restarting again and again. So starting one we said CPU is getting overheated. So it can be another reason. What is that? SMPS not giving enough power supply to your system. That's why. So, for example, your total wattage utilization at present is 300 watts. So, better to take more than 300 watts. SMPS is always recommended. So, you have a 300, then take 350 or 400 or 450. It does not mean you should take 1 kV, 2 kV SMPS. It's very costly and not necessary, and it's dangerous also. Too much power supply consumption is increases. Little higher than you require. Okay. So I didn't calculate, but I estimate something better. It instead of 450 or 550, I put in my desktop is 650 watts. In a future, maybe I change my motherboard, the processor, because it's i3, the nth generation. Now it's a 13th generation is going on. Right now, I'm not using the desktop. Maybe in future, after 2, 3 years, okay, I use the desktop. That time, new i5 processor, a graphic card of 8 GB dream system. Okay, 8 GB graphic card, i5 processor with the latest version, a 32 GB RAM, okay, or 2 TB of SSD. Like that. When I go with one, I need a more power supply. So 650 is okay, no problem. So in future purpose also, okay. So you can take little extra than this one. This is suggestible. Okay. Lot of fun is there, guys, in the system assembling. People see that one system hardware. What is this? Nowadays, A is there, BA is there, all these things. But you got to know like about a system. It's a lot of fun in it. Okay. Assembling of system and okay. So people are highlighting those people, but really how what you are enjoying other than your things, okay, is also important. So just once check any YouTube videos or go to any this system selling points, okay, and check it. Someone buying a computer, check take a quotation, a new quotation of a computer. Go to any nearest computer marketplaces. Take one or two places. What are the system components and their prices? You want to buy a new computer for your gaming purpose. Take the quotation and you will understand what is these components and what is their pricing and compare with online also how much online is price is there. Okay, which component is very high in the online, which component is very low in the online, which component is very high in the market also can get it. Okay, so knowing it's like just for fun, you can do it when you have a time. Okay, this is secondary storage devices. As I said, we will discuss up to here. Just a 1 minute only, guys. Just I will stop it and start in 1 minute. It will take 15, 20 minutes. So then we'll start.